Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is June the 17th, 2017. From the Washington Post, Mueller's probe expands to Jared Kushner's business ties. I just want to do a short video on this because I believe that Jared Kushner does have ties that are quite disturbing to me. Now, as far as Russia goes with Kushner, there are some ties there, but the most disturbing ties with Kushner is the ties with Bibi Netanyahu. And I'll show you why. I did an article on Facebook here titled Broken Promises, Broken Country. I did it on June the 15th a couple days ago. I sometimes write articles so I don't have to do a video. Videos are very time consuming to me. Anyway, I will leave a link for this, but I wanted to show you a portion of this that I've been wanting to get out for a while about Jared Kushner. And this is where I bring up some points about Donald Trump, the main things that I don't like about the promises that Trump didn't keep. And I will tell you that if you view this on my Call of Duty Goddess Facebook page, you will see that I'm quite a scrapper. So on the comment section, if you give it to me, I'm going to give it to you back. It doesn't bother me at all to be a scrapper. I'm from the hood. Anyway, I'll just go over this with you. President-elect Donald Trump to stay out of Syria. He said that he recognized that Syria is not America's responsibility. Unfortunately, Vice President-elect Mike Pence, as well as some of those mentioned for top administration officials, take a more militaristic perspective. Trump should announce that his administration will not get involved in Syria's civil war in any way. Now, I have to say, I'm going to stop it right there. When I've investigated things, especially presidents, administrations, and their picks, I'll give you an example. When I investigated James Comey, I found that after 9/11, Bush basically redid his whole administration with war hawks. Okay, with neocons. And when he redid his whole administration after 9/11 and brought all the neocons in, he brought in James Comey. I believe he brought in James Comey to cover up for Sandy Berger's connection, I believe, with Israel, Saudi Arabia, and planning 9/11. Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iran. I believe they all did it. They were all in on it. Yes, Israel. And I'll get a lot of blowback, but hey, the truth is the truth. I have nothing against Jews. I have nothing against Christians. I have nothing against pagans. Hell, I don't even care if you're a devil worshiper, as long as you don't bother me and mine and anyone else. I do talk about Muslims because it's in their book to kill people, and they do it. But I digress. Let's get back to the story. I hate when I go off on a tangent. Anyway, President-elect Donald Trump staying out of Syria. He broke his promise. When Trump actually bombed Syria over a chemical weapons attack that had not been investigated, which actually looked like a false flag attack because of the white helmets being involved and no one using gloves, it was painfully obvious that the attack was set up. I couldn't believe that within 2 days of the chemical attack, Trump was bombing Syria. And not only bombing Syria, but bombing the very place that he accused Assad of storing the chemical weapons, therefore making it virtually impossible to investigate the place where Assad supposedly stored his chemical weapons in order to kill his own people. Does that make any sense to anyone at all? And I mean, you can even say that maybe the investigation was done within 2 days. I think not. I do not believe that an investigation of that magnitude, that size of an airfield or Air Force base, whatever you want to call it, that supposedly stored these chemical weapons, it could not have been done within 2 days. I don't believe it for 1 second. Let's continue. And to add insult to injury, Jared Kushner and Joint Chiefs Chairman Dunford landed in Iraq the day before the chemical attack. If you will recall, about a month before that, Benjamin Netanyahu, along with President Trump, had a press conference at the White House where Bibi talked about his close relationship with Kushner's family and Trump's family. Let's listen to this.
I've known President Trump for many years, and to allude to him or to his people, his team, some of whom I've known for many years too. Can I reveal, Jared, how long we've known you? Well, he was never small. He was always big. He was always tall. But I've known the president, and I've known his family and his team for a long time. And there is no greater supporter of the Jewish people and the Jewish state than President Donald Trump. I think we should put that to rest.
Bibi knowing Trump and his family for years is not necessarily a bad thing, especially after how the Obama administration treated Prime Minister Netanyahu. But after having Kushner as Trump's primary advisor for Middle Eastern policy, and that's a story within itself, folks, about Flynn and Kushner. That's something that I've investigated. I'm not quite finished my investigation, but I do have a pretty good idea of what went on. And whenever I finish my investigation and it's appropriate time, I'll either do a video or an article about it. Anyway, but having Kushner as Trump's primary advisor for Middle Eastern policy, and then hearing the Prime Minister talk about how close he is to Kushner's family as well, that starts to get a little bit concerning to me. But that's not all. You see, Israel has been illegally occupying the Golan Heights for many years. And a couple of years ago, Israel made the biggest oil discovery in modern times, in the Golan Heights. When Israel went to the International Court to get permission to drill in the Golan Heights, Israel lost. Israel then went to an Israeli court, and the Israeli judge gave permission to drill, which was a shocker there. Now Israel has been drilling Syrian oil for about a year, with the Israeli Prime Minister being so close to not only Trump, but his foreign policy advisor. It really looks bad when you add up the oil and the chemical attack. Not to mention a couple of years ago when Putin ratted out Erdogan for buying oil from ISIS and selling it to Israel. I will leave the link for this in the description box, and mostly all of the pertinent articles that are involved are hyperlinked in this article, so you can see the evidence that was brought before them. But my point here is that I believe that Jared Kushner's ties to the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are frightening, to say the least. Especially when you look at what's going on with the oil discovery in the Golan Heights. And isn't it amazing that Genie Oil is located in New Jersey, where Jared Kushner is from? I could not find a connection with his family to Genie Oil, but I'm sure there's one there somewhere. I bet if I looked hard enough, I could find one, because they are both based in New Jersey, Jared Kushner and Genie Oil. So I'm telling you that to me is frightening. Now, the Russian connection with Jared Kushner, I'll be honest, I didn't look into very deep. I only researched it. I did not investigate it. To me, there's a difference. When I research something, I do not put it in a timeline form. When I investigate something, I put it into a timeline form, and I'm able to see more. And I did see some connections that were kind of disturbing with Jared Kushner and Russia. But again, nothing like with Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel. And again, the timing is incredible with Flynn, how he was fired right away, and how it happened. And he got fired for nothing. And I'm not so sure that it wasn't on purpose. I see a trend when I've investigated Flynn and Jared Kushner. And again, like I said, I'm not finished yet, and I'll get to it. But all of this revolves around one thing: Syria the Middle East, the whole thing. And it's all really starting to come together, and it's actually so big that it's very difficult for me to put it in any kind of form at all, whether it be writing or a video. So I'll have to give it to you bits and pieces. But again, I want to reiterate that the ones up at the top are, from what I've found, are the queens and kings of old. Nothing's changed. Everything has stayed the same, but it's just under a veneer of false identities, let's say. I think a lot of the kings and queens of old have changed their names, and I know I sound crazy, but isn't it amazing that the Knights of Malta were first called the Knights of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem? And what is the fascination with Israel and Jerusalem and that area right there? Is it what we've been told, or is it something else? I believe it's something else, and I believe it's being revealed right now, but you're not hearing about it on TV. And I'm going to get to it, believe me, but I just need to have some time to lay it out for you. This is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6.